Hello students. Today, as you know that we are going to discuss on the topic called globalization. And we know globalization in international relations is one of the most important topic in today's international relations and global politics. Okay. So in this video, you will be able to know about what is exactly globalization is and what implications globalization have upon international relations. What are the things that globalization has brought to the world? Along with this, what are the topics we are going to cover? We will see in the next slide. So see, you can see, first of all, I will explain what is globalization as we know, okay, the concept of globalization, definition of globalization. Then quickly we'll go to the second topic, that is important characteristics of globalization. What are the characteristics which defines globalization? Okay. Then the third and most important part, with the starting of 1990s, we know that the disintegration of Soviet Union has uh, come into existence, and with that the LPG model has been formed. So LPG model is what and what constitute its further growth. We'll look into that. And fourth is impact of globalization on nation state. Especially we will talk about states sovereignty and territoriality, means what impact it has upon the borders. And then we will discuss at length about advantages and disadvantages of globalization. In the end, we will see the globalization and its alternative. Okay. So it is very important that whenever we talk about globalization, means to be very exact, globalization is a process by which we can transfer our capital, technology, humans from one state to another, and it is a system whereby the world is seen to be as a borderless entity. Means anything and everything can be transferred from one place to another in the entire earth, irrespective of the differences of the government, irrespective of whatever relations we have with the states. Okay. So the concept of globalization, so with this I come to the concept of globalization. So the concept of globalization has emerged in the 1990s. So we, you know that the capitalist model, the end of ideologies, basically the end of the ideological war, which has started, in 1945 with with the end of the Second World War. We have seen the world entered into the Cold War phase, and then there were two blocks. One is capitalist bloc, one is the socialist bloc led by the USSR. Okay, so when Soviet Union has disintegrated and all of its states have become Commonwealth of Independent States, so the entire hegemon or the status of hegemon has been marked by capitalistic reign or system, where USA was seen as a superpower. So whatever USA and its economic system will look into, we will state globalization as a policy, as a practice, and everything on the basis of that. Okay, so globalization, here we are seeing that 1990s has brought the concept of globalization. Okay, now next move to the next one. So here we are coming across the characteristics of globalization. Okay, as you can read in the screen, that globalization has connected countries, world economies. Then we can see populations, we can see the transfer of cultures from one place to another. For example, now if you are looking for the restaurants or various brands, okay, like Apple, Vivo. So Apple is from US, Vivo is from China. Okay, and various other brands and restaurants. Like if you feel like having some Chinese foods, then you can go to various restaurant. I'm not mentioning the name. Suppose you want to go for pizza, then you can go for McDonald's. You are going to if you want to have some fried chickens and all, then you will go to KFC. So McDonald's as well as KFC, Kentucky Fried Chicken, that is. So these restaurants are US born restaurants, and the other like Wow China or Chow Mein and various other restaurants, they are from China. We will find Italian cuisine and other things. Okay, so this has basically, globalization has done what? Globalization has brought all the cultures of the world together. Okay, so you can find McDonaldization versus any, yeah, any what to say, any product or anything which is displayed across the countries of the world, you will find over your country just because of the help of globalization. So first characteristics of globalization is free trade. Free trade means no one is going to set limit. No one is going to ask that you cannot trade this, you cannot do that. Okay, so globalization has helped improved trade volumes between nations. Earlier what used to do, like many states used to raise the trade walls. Trade walls means like if you want to trade with that country, then you have to pay a very huge amount of money. Okay, like suppose if you are coming from a suppose from other country like Australia to India, then you have to pay 700 times of tax. So that used to be very much huge for a country who is going to do business with our country. So with the help of globalization, what has happened now, that trade barriers are removed now. Okay, so they have to pay minimalistic amount of tax, and then they can launch their technology and products, and they can earn their revenue and profits as well. Okay, in the second phase or second point, you can see that liberalization, globalization has improved the business climate for corporations. Now you know that we have many foreign international companies which are operating, MNCs, multinational corporations, transnational corporations. Like the shopping malls are the examples which hold various brands. Okay, now BMW, Lexus, and other brands which are available in India. They are not, obviously, you know that they are not from India, Indian origin, but they means the process of liberalization has helped them to take their technology, to launch their products at different parts of the world. Now you can, if you are rich, so you will go after some days after getting job, what you will do, you will go, you will buy your own Lamborghini, you will buy your own Audi. Okay, so that should be the spirit. So increased connectivity between nations. Earlier what used to happen, when there was no globalization, like you used to fear that what will happen if I travel from India to China, if I travel to this part of the state, because you do not know, there were no YouTube, no no nothing, no social medias by which you see how the people used to live. Now with the help of YouTube technology and everything, now we can go. Now many people are going to Thailand, many people are going to Cambodia, many are traveling Europe. So technology has eventually helped this, help the countries, okay, to link their cultures, to boost tourism, and to earn revenues for themselves. Because whenever you are going to outside places, obviously you will buy things for your family. Okay, how many of you will buy things for family? Just let me know in the comments. Okay, whatever the things you would like to bring, you can tell it there. So increased connectivity between nations means this has helped countries, to improve their trade relations, along with their means, along with an environment which by which they can also influence their culture, their civilization, and everything. Now we know what kind of culture the Middle East is having, or what kind of culture the US is having, what kind of culture the Africans are having. Okay, and we can also link our Asian culture with them. Okay, interdependence. So vital, the most contrasting point is interdependence. Okay, with the advent of globalization, countries have become more reliant on each other. So interdependence means what? We are depending on each other. Okay, suppose India needs a huge amount of rice to feed its population. You know that we are prone to flood, and we do not have sufficient, warehouses to put the stuffs. And there are, so as a result, the prices of rice or like onions and potatoes goes up. So in order to balance this, like disproportionate amount of things, we take help of our neighboring states like Bangladesh, China, and they also take the same thing, like they also take cotton from India, then they also take tea from India. So in this way, one country's interdependence on other countries is also seen with the advent of globalization. And this is something which I can say that it is also part of advantage, that we are becoming interdependent on each other. As a result, we are boosting our, means, everything, like from diplomacy to culture to economy, everything. Now cultural exchange, now this is something which is very promising, and which has led to the led to another level of, what to say, misdevelopment. Like culture exchange means, like you can see that the coming up of chins. Now see, you have your own traditional attire, suppose. Okay, which you wear during your some festivals. Now you can't wear these things. Okay, so obviously what do you wear at the time of going to college? You wear sufficiently jeans or t-shirts or shirts. So this entire concept of jeans is not ours. This has we have opted the culture from where? We have opted the culture from US, right? United States. And there are other things like leather shoes, which you can, like, if you watch the, like, on the Hollywood movies, you'll see that the leather shoes, they are having huge collections of shoes. So this we have learned from Europe. So seemingly we have a huge cultural exchange and interchange. On the basis of that, globalization has uh, approximated the process. Okay. Urbanization means the coming up of cities. Now suppose you are living in a village, for example. Now what is your mean, like, what is your main ambition? Would you like to go to a village and work into it, or you like to go to a city, have an apartment, have a luxurious bungalow of your own, have your cars, have your whatever, like whatever technology, having a MacBook or an iPhone, whatever it is. Okay, so everything has is facilitated in an urban lifestyle, because whenever you feel the need of watching a movie, you rush to an Inox or a PVR. Whenever you feel like having some food, then you will go to, like, Domino's or like other restaurants to meet your hunger. Okay, so urbanizations provide you with schools, colleges, best technological centers, and other places whereby you will find all the facilities. So globalization has supplemented with the concept of urbanization. Then improve standards of living. Okay, so globalization has constantly being a factor which has improvised our standard of living. Why globalization has improvised our standard of living? Now we do not think that we will be earning this amount. Okay, now see, for example, I'll give you one example. Now many YouTubers in India, you know what they do? They earns in crores in months. Okay, they have left their jobs, like they used to be an employee of bank. Okay, then many were, like, they go out for with the help of YouTube, they goes out to watch and to chase the world. They travel countries, and from there they are earning a lots, millions and millions of money. Okay, so we can see that means globalization has really helped to improvise our life and standards, because you are getting everything and anything at a supplemented cost, and the best is provided to you, because it is the place where the competition is really seen. Okay, means the place where competition means, now, when in the market you will go, you want to buy a cell phone, you will find an entire lot of stocks. Like, you will, in suppose your budget is 15,000, then you will find so many companies. You keep on watching the features in Amazon or Flipkart. If you want to buy online, if you will go to those shops, and you will find it, the feature is there, this feature is there. So there's a huge competition. So it has also helped you, it provided you with the best. And so globalization has been a tremendous factor which has also culminated. So this is also one of the most important characteristics which you should keep in mind. So let's move on to next. So liberalization, privatization, and globalization. So you know that the 1990s, when I talked in the very beginning, I told you that the disintegration marked the beginning of the globalization. With these three things, liberalization, we know the coming up of institution, business, firms, banks, and everything from the west to our country to various parts of the world has been possible. Privatization means now the government is not means now you don't want to basically have a government service, because we are means like the peoples, those who are eager to have the government service, you know that how what kind of difficulty it is to get. So you are, the private enterprises are also offering you with a good amount of salary and packages. So privatization also helped in the process of job acquisitions. Okay, as a result, it has also manifested in a long run of achieving the tools of, and where and what to what indices. And then we see the coming up of globalization means, like, there's a famous, uh, what to say, famous author or thinker, you can say, that is Francis Fukuyama. Yeah, when the Soviet Union has disintegrated, Francis Fukuyama clearly told that this is the end of history. Means end of history means now there is only one superpower. So where come the world war will happen? Okay, war is not going to happen because obviously the countries are having what? Countries are having nuclear and America is the sole superpower. Okay, so here you can see that that in the first point I've mentioned about the disintegration. Then we have talked about the world under one roof. So we do not have to think about, that we are in India, we can't go to a Greenland, we can't go to there, because if you have money, if you are earning well, you can travel any part of the world. So, and if you want the products, best of the things, best of the cars, best of anything else, you can get it from any part of the world to your doorstep. So that is the world under one roof, like we are one. Okay, the world is a global village. Why we are comparing the world with a global village? We are comparing the world with a global village because the village, the village, they provide us with everything. Where are from this paddies, this rice, this wheats, this come from? They come from the villages. So the world is a global village means all the resources we are extracting from the villages. So the entire part of the world is villages, because we are taking things, because the entire world is contributing for the process of globalization. So this is another factor which has basically initiated the LPG model. And there are various institutions like the IMF, World Bank, WTO, as an important actors who are providing loans to the as a financial organizations to various countries. And then the role of foreign direct investment, like when the countries, they come from various other places, like suppose one IBM, Infosys, Accenture, like the companies those who are coming from abroad. So what they do, they basically means like they will come, they will invest into our land. As a result, our netizens or citizens, they are getting jobs, and this helps them to basically raise the GDP of that particular country, of our particular state. As a result, they are also helping the families, whereby this foreign direct investment is making an important tool for the process of globalization. Means it is foreign direct investment, the money which is being invested by the foreign institutions or firms on our land, and this investment is reflecting the growth of ours. Okay, so that is something. And then the impact of globalization on nation state, this is very important. So you know that the entire process of colonization, the Britishers or the European powers who has come to do trade with us, they has robbed us, they have taken our lands, they have taken our resources, gold, diamonds, whatever it were taken. Okay, so, globalization talks about a borderless world. And you know the definition of nation state. State means a sovereign state, okay, which has its own border, its own locations, and its own army, population, culture, everything. So, the globalization has put a challenge to the government, because now the foreign direct investors, or like the farms, those who are coming and settling up into our land, suppose they are coming from US, China, or various other parts of the world, and they're settling upon India. So what will happen? They are not going to, means like they are not taking up their enterprises, because they see that here we are having a huge population, a huge market. So suppose you want to do trade. Okay, suppose you are a businessman. So where you will go and launch your business in maybe between 100 peoples or between 10 peoples, where you will get the maximum profit? Obviously in the where you will have 100 peoples, because the more the peoples are, more they will buy your products. Okay, so as a result, so they are coming to our countries, and supposedly this strong business institutes, they are huge, they are having huge amount of money as well as capital. So what they do, they help the politicians at the time of their election campaigns. And what they do, and they basically means act as an interest group whenever a particular election campaign is hosted, and that particular political party comes into power. This basically business firms, those who have invested in them, so they try to acquire more and more rights from the government, and the more and more rights they acquire from the government, the less and less a state becomes powerful. Okay, so you know that. So the countries, like what is happening, for example, the countries like Sri Lanka. Okay, Sri Lanka has given China to construct its Hambantota port. Okay, so like with in lieu that the Hambantota port will be constructed, and China will, with a lease of 100 years. 100 years means for 100 years China will utilize this port for carrying its raw materials, for launching its, like the sea vehicles, for refueling its sea vehicles. They will use the ports for 100 years. So apparently what has happened, so this port is rather being used by China, and slowly, steadily, Sri Lankan market has been filled with Chinese products. Like whatever they have, like the bikes, cars, mobile phones, Chinese banks, like the Asian Infrastructure Investment Banks and various other banks like ADB, Asian Development Banks. So they have set their units. Now Sri Lankan government can't say no. So globalization has tremendously affected state sovereignty, because the more you are taking loans from a state, from a powerful state, the more you are burdened, because you can't repay their money because the amount is huge. And obviously you know that every system has corruption in it, has various types of problems. When the government changes and there is despotism, nepotism, whatever it is, so that is not an easy task for a country like Sri Lanka or like Pakistan to repay the money back to those institutions, to those countries. So as a result, the sovereignty of those states are hindered or affected. Now let's look into the concept of advantages and disadvantages of globalization. So advantages, like globalization has helped us with many things. Okay, so earlier, like we do not have a concrete understanding of how the countries will react. Now also you have a doubt, like if you are visiting to a foreign land, you need to watch so many videos, like how I will get my currency exchange, how to do immigration, and how to do this and that. So at least you have something right now. But earlier, when globalization was not there, it was not possible to think that you will go to other places, you will, how you will leave there, how we will connect to your family, because at the time you used to drop a letter in, I'm talking of 1970 60s, and then this letter will come to you after suppose 2 years. So what will happen? So your family will remain worried. But now with the help of globalization, now you simply go to a foreign land, and then you will raise a call, and then you will can talk to your parents using WhatsApp or whatever it is. Okay, so that means, like the countries and that the nation states are more comfortable with each other because they are sharing informations. Okay, countries are more likely dependent on each other for technology, resource, and capital. So obviously, the bigger countries provides resources and technology to the smaller country, and the smaller country gets capital, so they deliver them with the services. So that we have learned already. Transfer of culture, acknowledgement of human rights. So with the growth of globalization, we know what human rights is and how this rights has been universal. Okay, like there's the question of racism, caste, class, everything, like what contribute to the upliftment of human rights we have seen. Okay, and it has also made our transfer of culture values from Europe to various other parts of the world, and we now know everything. Like whatever we want to know, we have direct information or source from where we can see. So let us quickly move to disadvantages. Now we know that the resources are not only used, they are also abused, because thousands and lakhs of companies are there, those who are manufacturing products. Suppose you need a medicine like the paracetamol or whatever it is. Now Cipla is also manufacturing, now Ranvaxi manufacturing, now Sun Pharma is manufacturing. So like many companies, they are manufacturing, they are not manufacturing, one or two pieces, they are manufacturing in bulk. So after a duration, these products are getting, expired. So expiry of this product means what, the resources are also being expired. So in this way, there is also abuse of resources. Now terrorism is a factor, that with the growth of globalization, because you are not only getting the products, but you are also getting the ingredients for making something like bombs, then there are also the arms and everything. Okay, so there is there is a boost we can see in the form of terrorism, and since it is a borderless world, so you can expect insecurity at every places. Okay, like we can see that the bombings which has happened in Afghanistan, we can see the bombings which has happened in various other places. Okay, social media, social media now, people are more positively or negatively, you are rooted to social media. Like after this lecture, what you will do, you will watch a notification in your Facebook, and then you will quickly delve yourself into that Facebook, or you'll scroll the pages, you will not study, and then what will happen? Then nothing will happen. You will simply, whenever you will see these topics into your exam, you will think, oh, somewhere I have seen these topics. Okay, so these things actually happen, so you have to be very concentrated. Like you don't have to use social media, you can use it whenever it's necessary. But I'm not talking about the usage and non-usage of social media, I'm talking about the problems of negative influences. Suppose one thing you have seen, and this things you are negatively, your mindset has been developed. Okay, so this has constellated to the process of globalization only, that social media and its negative influences. Okay, so more westernization of culture means what, now we are giving less hits to our language, our culture. Now we are more pro to the Western cultures, the technologies, and everything. So as a result, what has happened? We are disregarding our culture, and we are losing the grip of our culture. So that should not have happened. So this is something which I see as a disadvantage of globalization. So globalization and its alternative. So this is the last thing, but not least. So globalization and its alternative means what? Globalization and its alternative means, does globalization has an alternative or not? So we know that globalization do not have an alternative, because it is not only a system but a mindset which has shaped the world into a different dynamic. Okay, so globalization has, like, if there is an alternative, like now you can say that China is maintaining its alternative. China is having a different strand of alternative. Like China, you can't simply go and pressurize the Chinese government. In fact, the US cannot enter China properly because they have maintained its own alternative. But just because you will be into an alternative system means like you have to sacrifice everything means like you can't, like the people of China do not have what, Facebook, they don't have WhatsApp, they don't have a Chrome to search engines, they have all of the things which are created in China. Okay, so that is something which globalization is talked about, and it has drastically seeing that means we do not see an alternative, better alternative to globalization, because the world has taken it as a challenge, and this has successfully installed and shaped world culture, institutions, and it has redesigned affiliation trust over the countries through interdependence. And that is all about the topic. If you liked the video, please put a reaction with a like, give comment if you have any doubt, and you will be finding more such videos and various contents. If you're interested, just put a comment and acknowledge. Thank you.